Okay, this is Module 5, Ratio, Proportion, and Percents. I'm David Dipple from the Art Institute. Okay, we'll be working through this. Once you get this material done, I suggest you do the skills check. And I wouldn't spend a lot of time on things that you can't do, because then you can go back and do those modules as you need to. Okay, write a fraction. We need to turn this into a fraction, so you take the front 12 times the bottom 5 and add the numerator 3. So it's 12 times 5 plus 3 over 5. That's 12 times 5 is 60, plus 3 is 63 over 5. Percent means per 100, so we've got to put 100 in the bottom, so that's 63 over 500. Okay, price of gasoline increased from $3.15 to $3.35. To get the increase, we're subtracting it 20 cents. The ratio of the increase to the original. Take the increase, 20 cents, original, $3.15. Okay, I'm going to reduce this. 20 is 0.04 times 5. That's 20 cents. 3.15 is 0.63 times 5. Your 5s will cancel, and you can move both the decimals 2 places and get 4 over 63. Okay, we want a proportion for 16 is what percent of 130. Percent is per 100, so I want what percent, so it's x over 100, 16 over 130. Okay, a phone company charges 6 cents a minute, or 40 cents for a minimum, and then it takes whichever is greater. Well, it's going to be you have it 6 times 5 or 40 cents, whichever is greater. So in this case, 40 is greater, because 6 times 5 is 30, and you take the greater of the two. Okay, a business loans $20,000, 13% for 9 months. They want simple interest. Interest is principal times rate times time. Time has to be in years. So it's $20,000 what you borrowed. 13% is 0.13, and then 9 months is 9 out of 12. So if you multiply that out, you should get $1,950 for your interest. Okay, they want you to change 1.4 to a percent. Changing to a percent moves it 2 decimal places. So it's 1, 2 decimals. So you're going to need to put a 0 after it, which is 140%. I'm going to move to the right. 6 pounds of fertilizer covers 800 square feet. How many pounds for 9,600 square feet? Well, if you'll make 6 out of 800 equals how many out of 9,600? Just set up 2 fractions that are equal to each other. Your 6 to 800, how many to 96? Okay, if you will cross multiply, 6 times 9,600, write that down, x times 800. Okay, 6 times 9,600 is 57,600. And then you have 800x. Divide by 800. So divide this side by 800, divide that side by 800. Type that in the calculator, should be 72 as x. So 72 pounds will cover 9,600 square feet. What's the tax if you pay $31.85 in tax for a couch that costs $455? Well, your tax rate is $31.85. That's your tax per $455, which is, type in your calculator, 0.07. If you want to turn that into percent, is 7%. Okay, we want to reduce fraction. 52 weeks to 40 weeks. That's 52 over 40. Okay, 52 is 13 times 4. I can divide them both by 4. This is 10 times 4. We can reduce that, cancel out the 4s, you get 13 over 10. We want 0.65 as a fraction and as a percent. That's 65 over 100, because we have tenths and hundredths, 2 decimal places. You can reduce that. 65 is 5 times 13. 100 is 5 times 20. You can cancel the 5s and get 13 over 20. And if you want to turn it into percent, it would just be 65%, because it's 65 over 100, which is 65%. Okay, a computer is selling for $650, and it's on sale for $533. What's the percent decrease? Well, you take your decrease, 650 minus 533, which is 117. And 650 is the original. And so you have 117 decrease, 650 for the original. And they want percent. So you type that in your calculator, and it gives you 0.18, which is 18%. Okay, number 12. What percent of 320 is 380? So you take 320 and you divide 380 into it. So what percent of 320 is 380? So it's 380 divided by 320. Type that in your calculator, 1.1875. Move it 2 decimal places, so it's 118.75%. Okay, 6% of 530. Of is multiplication, so it's 0.06, because we've got to get rid of our percent sign. Move it 2 decimals, times 530, should be $31.80. What percent of 350 cars are 112 of the cars? Well, 112 of the cars out of 350 cars. Type that in your calculator, you get 0.32. Just type in 112 divided by 350. Gives you 0.32. It says what percent? Move it 2 decimals. It's 32%. 15. You're going to sell a $240,000 house. There's an 8% commission. Then the agent gets 45% of that commission. Agent usually doesn't get all the money, they just get a part of it. So 240,000, there's an 8%, so you take 240,000 times 0.08, that's the commission. And then the agent gets 45%, so it's times 0.45. So first you got to convert and find the commission, then take 45% of that. And when you type that in your calculator, turns out you get 8640. Simply typing in your calculator. 240,000 times 0.08 times 0.45. Okay, my first vacation is 12 1/3 days. My second vacation is 2.5 weeks. Find the ratio of the first to the second and make sure you're in weeks. Okay, the first one, we have to convert 12 1/3 days into 12 times 3 is 36 plus 1 is 37/3 days. Okay, then there are 7 days in a week, so we have to divide by 7, so we've got to put 7 on the bottom. 3 times 7 is 21, so there's really a 21 on the bottom now to convert it to weeks. So we have 37 21sts, and we want that ratio to 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 halves. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 halves, so that's 5 halves weeks. Now we want the ratio of this one to the second one, which is 37 over 21 to 5 halves. Okay, whenever you're dividing like this, we flip the bottom one over. So it's 37 over 21 times 2 over 5. Nothing cancels. These are all 21 doesn't reduce, 37 doesn't reduce to 5. So you get 74 over 105. So that's the ratio. Okay, 17, which is the best unit price? Well, if we take $1.56 divided by 12, gives you 0.13, 13 cents an ounce. 317 divided by 19. Just a second. Sorry, mistyped that one. 317 divided by 19 should be 0.167. And then 429 divided by 33 should be 0.148. So the best unit price is the top one. Okay, your printer sells for $188 on sale for 12% off. So you have 188 times 0.12. Anytime you have a decimal or a percentage, you need to convert it 2 places over it. So your discount is 188 times 0.12, which is $22.56. That's how much you're going to save. So it wants to find out the discount, which we did. Now your sales price, 188 minus your $22.56, because you're going to save that much money. Turns out to be, I believe, 165.44. Okay, 19, 17.5% of what number is 47.6. Now change this to a decimal. 17.5% is 17.5%. And then if you move it 2 decimal places, it's 0.175. Again, anytime you go from a percent to a decimal, you move 2 places over to the left. Now the equation is 17.5%, which is your 0.1725, of what number? X is your equal sign, 47.6. So to solve this, we're going to divide by 1725. And I mistyped that. Okay, we have 0.175 divided by 0.175, 47.6 divided by 0.175. So X should be 272. All right, number 20, Mary needs 128 credits to graduate from the Art Institute. She has earned 80. What percent has she earned? So she's earned 80 out of 128. Type that in your calculator. 80 divided by 128, 0.625. Move it 2 decimal places, and it's 62.5%. 20, change to a decimal. Move it 2 decimal places. 1, 2, so it's after the 2, so it's 42. Excuse me, percent. 2 decimals the other way, 0.0042. 22, write as a fraction, 42 over 8 minutes. You can reduce these. Okay, 42 is 21 times 2. 8 is 4 times 2. The 2's will cancel, so you have $21 over 4 minutes. Okay, 23, solve for x. You take x times 0.36, so it's 0.36x, and you take 0.24 times 54. Type this in your calculator. 0.24 times 0.54 should be 0.1296. Divide both sides by 36, so it's 0.36 divided by 0.36. 1296 divided by 0.36. Type this in your calculator. 0.1296 divided by 0.36, and you should get 0.36. So that should be all those in section 5.